just past 3 p.m. on Christmas Eve today, and I'm here at the airport in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. That is our 8th country, I believe, as part of Nonstop Nikhil. I'm losing track right now. But I've got my bags, I've gone through immigration and everything. I'm just waiting for Vivek. He's doing his visa actually on arrival, which means that he's applying for it and paying for it. And so there's 2 separate lines for that, and then he has to go through immigration to get out. I did my visa approval authorization online before landing, so I just had to go straight to immigration passport control, get my visa stamped, and then get out. So I'm just waiting for him. Right behind me, I've got the carousel for the Doha flight, which Vivek traveled on, and then my flight was Salaam from Maputo, making a stop in Pemba before getting here to Dar es Salaam. It's about 6:37 p.m. right now. We made it to Dar es Salaam. I'm with Vivek. He's made it. So right now, we're just decompressed a little bit in the room, hung out, did like nerdy language things as expected. And now we're just walking around the area where we're staying, and it's very predominantly Hindu. We walked by maybe like half a dozen temples, if not more. And we're gonna check all of this heritage out tomorrow. Right now, just roaming some more, gonna find somewhere to eat. I think Vivek's set on some Gujarati thali.
Totally. If the vibes of this area are serving me correctly, then that's exactly
I think that's probably what you need to
yeah,
eat. Okay,
sure.
We're gonna do that, and other than that, it's just our introduction into Dar es Salaam, the abode of peace, Dar es Salaam. And tomorrow, when we have some daylight, we'll have the whole day to check out the different neighborhoods and different heritage which make this city what it is, and getting a chance to see exactly how that Indian Ocean trade identities can form together and become a part of the urban fabric here of Dar es Salaam. After being in Mozambique for the last 10 days, it's been amazing coming here and being in a big city again. I mean, ever since Maputo, honestly, I haven't had a place with hot running water, electricity, air conditioning, Wi-Fi all at once. And that's exactly what Dar es Salaam is giving me. So I am grateful. I am fortunate to be in a city once again. And I keep telling you, cities are exactly what I enjoy. It's not the beach towns. It's not the smaller towns and villages, though that's definitely an aspect of life to look at, especially when we were in Mozambique, where that's how the majority of people live. For me, I enjoy the cities. So Dar es Salaam is one of the largest cities in Africa, and definitely the largest city, the economic, cultural, historical hub of Tanzania. And that's why I'm excited to be here. It's Christmas Day, December 25th, and I'm here in Dar es Salaam, the largest city of Tanzania. And I'm not only here in Dar es Salaam, but I'm here in front of St. Joseph's Cathedral, right along the coast, right in front of where you catch the ferries to head to Zanzibar Island. This particular church was constructed in the late 1800s and into the early 20th century, when this area of East Africa was still under German possession. It was then transferred to the Vatican, property of the Roman Catholic Church. As we got a glimpse yesterday, this part of Dar es Salaam is so multicultural, so multi-ethnic, so multi-religious, that the town is a little quieter than usual for it being a holiday today. The majority of Tanzanians are Christians, but there's still so much life going on here on the streets. So much has changed after taking that short flight from northern Mozambique to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. However, one thing remains consistent. That's the heat and humidity. As you can see, I'm already getting drenched in sweat, and it's like 8:39 in the morning right now. Just can't imagine what it's going to be like midday. This area of Dar es Salaam, right by the port, called Kisutu, reminds me so much of the port area of Beira, Mozambique. It's a multicultural mix of the remnants of the populations who engaged and participated so heavily and came to this part of the Swahili coast to participate in that Indian Ocean trade. Almost every business in this area has an Indian Hindu name. About 60% of the traders in this area of the South Asian community were actually Hindu South Asians, and then the other 40% were mostly from the Muslim community. And you can see the Hindu community concentrated on a couple streets very, very heavily here in the Kisutu area. And coming from the US South Asian community, it's amazing to see how long these businesses have actually been here in Tanzania. I just walked by one huge business, this Karimji Jivanji, established in the 1820s. So you can just see how much of a long-rooted history these South Asians have here in the east coast of Africa. However, the existence of a South Asian community here in Tanzania goes far back. The Portuguese explorer Vasco da Gama himself noted the existence of South Asian communities here along the Swahili coast in modern-day Tanzania, dating back to the late 1400s and early 1500s. During each era of East Africa's imperialist past, South Asians maintained a privileged status when compared to black Africans. When Zanzibar actually became the capital of Oman in the 1830s, many South Asians who were at that time living not that far away in Muscat, Oman, decided to follow the Sultan Sayyid Said here to the east coast of Africa. The movement of the Omani Sultanate's capital from Muscat to Zanzibar not only made the travel from a nearby Arab Gulf state to East Africa much more feasible for a lot of South Asians, it also provided these South Asians with a protected status here in Zanzibar under the Sultanate, as well as high administrative positions in the Sultan's court. And later, from the late 19th century to the early 20th century, when there was an actual establishment of a British consulate here in Zanzibar, the number of Indian traders just kept growing to up to just under 10,000 traders. However, at this point, we're all talking about Zanzibar. This is not Zanzibar, this is Dar es Salaam. Zanzibar is off the coast, about a 2-hour ferry ride from here. So what was happening here in Dar es Salaam? And why are there so many South Asians here in Dar es Salaam? For an answer to that question, we needed to shift forward a couple decades to the late 19th century, in around the 1880s, when it was the Germans who actually controlled this part of East Africa under their company. The German colony here brought many Zanzibar Indians to actually migrate to the mainland, and it also inspired a new wave of immigration directly from India as labor was needed to help build the railroads. The Indians who migrated directly from India during this period under German rule were not granted any sort of privileged status. They were treated just as harshly as the black Africans were here in East Africa. There is still so much history to cover, and I'm not going to try to bore you all with trying to deliver it all at once. So I'm going to start with that tidbit, and then we'll keep going in further parts of this episode and later episodes as well. So if there's one thing that you've come to expect from Nonstop Nikhil, it's that I will not be taking you to the obvious places. I'm here with Fatuma. She's a student here in Dar es Salaam studying anthropology. And so we just went to pick up her mom from the terminal. She's coming on the ferry from Zanzibar. And then we've come somewhere to the outskirts of Dar es Salaam. It's raining pretty heavily. What is this place called?
It's Kimara bus stop.
Skimara? Kimara bus stop. And then we're grabbing a connection bus to a place called Mbezi bus stop, so that we can get her mom a ticket to go to Kilimanjaro, right? To go there, and then we'll head back to the city, because Fatuma actually lives by the university. The public transportation system here might look a lot, but after coming from Mozambique, I'm very, very grateful and thankful for the amount of order that we actually have here in Tanzania. Like, a bus is going from point A to point B, no personalized stops for people who just want to get on and get off, no cows or like sheep or chickens on board. So there's some fish and there's some vegetables, but with that I can deal. So it's all relative right now, and for now, Tanzania, I'm impressed. I'm not planning on taking any overland travel in Tanzania, but I will be doing a lot of overland travel in my next couple of countries, in Rwanda, in Kenya, and Uganda. But what's actually been surprising me so far this morning is the topography of the city. When you think that Tanzania, you're thinking flat grasslands, the savanna, this archetypical image of East Africa. However, near Dar es Salaam, it's not like that at all. It feels like more like a rainy hill station. People are walking from settlements above hills, down terraces to get to roads at a lower elevation. And especially when it's so hot and humid, it feels so cathartic when it just pours rain like it has this morning. And now the weather is perfect. The porter is very interested in being filmed and telling me about this flyover. He's like insisting that I must film the flyover. So everybody take a look at the flyover. So I've also noticed another thing about political culture here, and it becomes very, very apparent very quickly because I've only been here under 24 hours right now, and I'm just like, it's glaring at me coming from the US. There's almost this personality worship around the president, where everywhere you go you find billboards with the president's face on it. If you're in a restaurant, like we were at dinner yesterday, there are portraits of the current president sitting there on a high place in a position in the restaurant. Everywhere you go, if you pass like a flyover or a road junction, everyone says, oh, our former president constructed this in order to make our lives easier, to help traffic flow better. And so this, I don't know, this like strange personality cult worship, or at least the president holds a different place in the mentality of people here. To be honest, this is the Africa that I've become used to over the past 2 months of travel. This feels so much more like home, feels so much more like my experience in Dakar, in Abidjan, in Maputo, and so on. Yeah. So this is the waiting area for the bus travelers. You can find pretty much anything to sustain you on a long-term wait here. There's like food, you can even buy clothes, you can buy household goods, whatever you might want to take with you. I'm sure there are vendors from all over East Africa here. And then up on this floor, looks like there's some check-in counters for different bus companies. It might not be immediately obvious, but seeing a chaotic bus terminal like this is actually a very, very encouraging sign for my onwards travels in East Africa. That means that there is a lot of demand for transportation between cities. It means that there are a lot of local people traveling. It means that it's safe because a lot of local people are traveling. And having so many businesses dedicated to bus travel means that there's competition, prices are sustainable and cheap, and there's going to be a range of services provided, from budget buses to high-end, very, very comfortable buses to go between major cities. And that should mean that traveling through Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya overland should be very, very feasible. The distances are not as far as they were in Mozambique, and there's so much infrastructure here to do that sort of travel. So I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so we left the train station, finally got a rickshaw, and we're on the campus of the University of Dar es Salaam. It's exactly where Fatuma studies. She's been insisting that I see the campus, and it's a nice campus. This like nice library in front of us. There's a Confucius Institute. You see the building with all the Chinese characters on it. Literally, this Confucius Institute buildings are everywhere around the world, spreading Chinese language and culture. This rain has just been unrelenting, so we've been trying to do whatever we can whenever the rain quiets down a little bit. We went, and it's a pretty big campus, so if you're interested in what the University of Dar es Salaam looks like, here's a little taste. Okay, so after exploring the University of Dar es Salaam and making our way back to the center, I'm here with Fatma and Vivek, and we're finding somewhere to eat for lunch. And you can get a sense of exactly what the streets here in Dar es Salaam look like right now. Before, yeah, we turn now. Yeah, I'm trying to keep, I should not be navigating and also vlogging at the same time. That is like not my thing.
What?
I cannot.
Are we going to the restaurant, or are we going somewhere else?
The restaurant. Is that, are we walking the wrong way? Yeah, this way?
I think the restaurant is
This way, yes. Okay.
because
The sea is this way,
yeah,
right?
this is away from the sea.
way away from the sea. You can contrast just how crowded that bus terminal was out on the outskirts of Dar es Salaam, compared with how empty downtown Dar es Salaam is today due to the Christmas holidays. But that makes it perfect for a nice walk where I can vlog and just see the city without the concern of being like run over, which is a nice thing. All the different styles of architecture and the tapestry of different cultures you see here. It's like just walking down the streets gives you an accurate representation of just how diverse historically and culturally and ethnically and everything the city really is. You see it all laid bare for you in its buildings, even if there aren't people on the streets right now.
I don't know, I think.
But I didn't get you. It's about biryani sauce.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know you're somewhere good to eat when you sit down and you just want to know where everybody is from and why they're here. Also, when you ask for a menu and they're just like, can you just please just like look at the food and order it? Because that's exactly what they did to us.
Yeah. Chicken? Yes, chicken.
We just had an amazing lunch at Chef's, I believe it's called. What was it? What was the restaurant called? Chef's?
Chef's Pride.
Chef's Pride, and the food was really, really good. It's basically like different types of biryanis that you could choose, and we had it with like different meats. And after that, we needed to run one errand because tomorrow we're actually leaving Dar es Salaam for the island of Zanzibar to continue talking about the history of the multicultural Indian Ocean trade that we started there in South Africa, then continued on in Mozambique, and are further continuing here in Tanzania. And Zanzibar was really the heart of that Indian Ocean trade. And so we booked our ferries from Kilimanjaro Ferries, I believe. And they have 4 classes you can choose from: economy, business, VIP, and royalty. We went with business, and that's like about $40 per person per ticket. So we're gonna be leaving tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. from Dar es Salaam for about that 2-hour ferry ride to the island of Zanzibar, where we'll be spending the vast majority of our time here in Tanzania. Walking through the Kisutu area of Dar es Salaam, each building tells a story, some more obviously than others. The one behind me says in Devanagari, Satyamev Jayate. We were at this traffic circle, and it's like each one of these houses has a different identity, tells a different story, from Shashi House to Satyamev Jayate to Natbar House, and they're all dated to the 1930s or 1940s. The incredible thing here is that you think Gujarat is such a small state in India, but it has a whole empire out here in East Africa. Each one of these buildings has a plaque in front of it written all in Gujarati. They literally owned and monopolized over any sort of business of size here in East Africa. Just past 8 p.m. and we're back at our Holiday Inn hotel here in the center of Dar es Salaam. And so with Fatuma, I went all the way to the outskirts. I saw public transport here on Christmas Day. I saw people praying at St. Joseph's Cathedral in the center of the city. I saw people traveling on buses, getting to where they needed to go for such an important holiday for Christians here in Tanzania. And then I walked the streets of Kisutu, a central district which reflects the social fabric and history and complexities and multidimensional cultures here in Dar es Salaam and along the Indian Ocean coast. We walked through, we saw remnants of Hindu, Muslim, Sikh traditions here. And we see how these cultures still remain and thrive in a changing urban landscape here in Dar es Salaam. Whether you think you're actually in East Africa or if you feel like you're in India when you're here in Dar es Salaam, it's one and the same, because people move, cultures move with them, ideas move with them. All of this happens just because of trade, and this is the magic of the Indian Ocean trade. But with that all, I want to end this vlog. I hope you got a unique look into areas of Dar es Salaam that other travelers do not visit. But with that, I will say goodnight and take care, everyone, and Merry Christmas.